Hi, this is Dave for DreamPod 9. This is a video explaining some of the attacks that Exo-Armors can make in the game of Jovian Wars. So this video I'm going to show you how a Pathfinder can make a bombing run on a capital ship. So in the situation here, in order to make a bombing run, you have to be within your regular move of a capital ship. And for the Pathfinder Exo-Armor, let's look at his stat card real quick. Here's speed of 5 inches, fire control 2, and it has 2 weapons: beam projector, which can attack anti-capital ship for 2 dice, and missiles, anti-capital ship for 2 dice, and it has a fuel of 3, which is going to be important. Now, in order to attack, all we have to do is be able to move into base contact with the ship. With a move of 5 inches, 4 inches will easily get there. So here's an example of what could happen. If there was a Syreen model, this is a CEGA Exo-Armor here, if I move in, use my special action to choose a bombing run, there's 2 choices the CEGA player can make. The CEGA player can simply use the Tengu's point defense rating. Let's look at the Tengu's card. Has a point defense rating of 4 to defend against the bombing run, or it can call its a nearby squadron, in this case the Syreens, has to be within 3 inches of the Pathfinders, and those Syreens will then move, intercept, and fight a dogfight. In this case, the Tengu says, well, you know, I've got lots of point defense, I don't mind fighting this off myself. So before the bombing run, the first thing that's going to happen is the Tengu is going to roll its point defense to see what damage it can do. So it'll roll 4 dice, and it will roll a double 5. So that'll be 1 damage on the Pathfinder. We'll mark that with a small dice. Okay. Now we go back to the Pathfinder. The first attack run that a model makes does not cost it fuel as long as its speed is equal or greater than the target. So the Tengu has a speed of 5, the Pathfinder has a speed of 5, which means the Pathfinder is going to get 1 bombing run, 1 attack run without spending any fuel. So we'll go to the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder will get to roll 2 dice for its beam projector, and its beam projector, because this is at close range, it's going to roll plus a flex dice, which means it adds plus 1 dice, but we'll have to remove 1 when it gets the result, and it's going to roll ACS missiles, and this is just going to be 2 dice. Now the main benefit for a bombing run is that the bombing run can benefit from a flank or rear arc modifiers, and point defense can't be used to defend against the missile attacks. They're only going to get used to defend against the Pathfinder for each attack run that it makes. So let's roll dice. Let's see what happens with the attack. So our missiles hit, but nothing from the beam projector hit. So on the Tengu, now because this is a missile weapon, missile weapons get to choose which system they hit. So normally a 3 or 4 would be sensors. In this case, we're going to knock down the point defense. Now, at the end of this move, I can move the Pathfinder to another arc of the Tengu to show that it's making a pass by it, which is now going to place it in the flank. Now when you attack a model in the flank, you get plus 1 dice, but you have to remove 1 dice. So now we're going to be at 4 dice for the beam projector, removing 2, and 2 dice for the missiles, removing 1. Now, before I do the next attack run, the Tengu has to decide, does it want to defend with its point defense again, or does it want to call in the Syreens to intercept? And the Syreens are still within 3 inches, so the Syreens are going to come in for an intercept and fight a dogfight, and this will help use up the Pathfinder's fuel. So in this case, we'll do a quick dogfight attack. Now, because the Pathfinder is still the active model, it would still get to attack first in a dogfight. But the Syreen has the interceptor trait, which means the Syreen is the one that will attack first in the dogfight. So the Syreen will attack as 4 dice for its beam projector, but it has 3 dice plus 1, has to take away 1 dice, and then it has some anti-exo missiles. So we'll roll this, see we get a double for the beam projector, nothing for the missiles, so that will do 1 more damage to the Pathfinder. Pathfinder will retaliate. It's the first round of a dogfight, so it gets 1 extra dice for beam projector, 1 extra dice for its lance trait, and it's going to roll nothing. 5 dice, no pairs, nothing. The Syreen is going to attack again. 4 yellow dice will be the beam projector. Going to roll, have absolutely no effect whatsoever. Nothing for the missiles, nothing for the beam projector. So now at this point the Pathfinder has been reduced to 3 damage, which means it is now crippled. Now a crippled model can still attack and still use fuel, but as soon as you've lost 3 points of damage, it's going to go down to fire control 1. So even if I get to I can continue fighting, but my bombing runs won't be as effective, and I have no chance of destroying the Syreen before I have a chance to continue these bombing runs. Now, in an example where the Syreens were not available, then the Tengu would have had to continue attacking with its point defense. So we'll return back to the point where the Pathfinder was at damage 1. So this time the Tengu would attack with its point defense, would do nothing, and the Pathfinder would attack again with a flank with the missiles and a flank with the beam. Let's roll and see what we get. So the beam has to take away 2, the missiles have to take away 1, the missiles do nothing, the beam does 1 damage to the 3s. And the 3 will be the sensors. So now we did 2 hits on there. I could move the Pathfinder again, but at this point for a flank or rear arc it's the same, it's a bonus dice, so there's no advantage for moving. So that the second attack used 1 fuel. Going to choose to attack again using a second fuel. Roll for the 3 dice for the missiles, 4 dice for the beam projector. Beam projector gets a double, missiles get a double. So we take away 2 dice for the beam projector, 1 for the missiles because of the flex dice. So now, this time the yellow, which was the beam projector, was on the 4, so that'll do 1 more damage to sensors, and the missiles could choose to do damage anywhere, but you know what, I'm just going to do 1 more damage to thrusters. Now, the Tengu gets... The Pathfinder says, I'm going to use my 3rd fuel to do 1 more attack run, and so the Tengu says, well, I'm going to attack you with my point defense 1 more time. Going to have no effect, the 3 dice, and so the Pathfinder will attack 1 more time. 2 dice for beam projector, plus 1 for the flank, plus 1 for being a beam projector. 2 dice for the missiles, plus 1 dice for the flank. Let's roll them. The missiles got a hit, and the beam projector got a hit, so we'll take away the 2 for the beam projector, 1 for the missiles. Now, the beam projector rolled a double 3, which will knock the sensors down there, and a double 2. The missiles are going to say, well, you know what, I'm just going to take that. I'm just going to say I'm going to attack the point defense here. Okay, the bombing run is complete, and so now the Pathfinder has to make a 5-inch move back towards an enemy, a friendly model with a hanger. This is called a return to base move. It is required. And there we have it, 1 completed bombing run. So as you can tell, using having a screen of exo-armors nearby to your ships is very useful, because when they intercept enemy exos or fighters and engage them in a dogfight, they're using up the enemy model's fuel, which means that even if they can defeat the interceptor, they won't have as much fuel to make as many attack runs. This is one example of how combined arms is very useful. This Tengu took 6 damage from an attack run. And make a note here that when the sensors reached full, it would actually do 1 damage to the structure of the ship as well, for filling up one entire system full of damage. So that's 7 circles filled in of damage for 1 bombing run by a Pathfinder.